Gabriela is an experienced immigrant. She's lived in 7 cities. She's moved to 4 countries. And, you know, while she does acknowledge that moving is tough, she says, focus on what you control. Look, I know it's not easy, and I don't even do that yet. I can't. But I think that's a great way to think about the existential crisis that comes with immigrating. Focus on what you can control. So if you're going to stop here, take that lesson. No matter how you're feeling right now, focus on what you can control. But yeah, let's get to her story. Let's hear about her 4 countries and 7 cities. My first question to you is Latina, Canadian, now lives in Texas,
Yes.
7 cities, 4 countries.
Yes, I have a very interesting journey. That's what most people tell me. Yeah, so I was born, like if I can give you a little bit of background, I was born
Sure.
in Honduras, a very small country in Central America. It's very close to Costa Rica for those who don't know. And I I've always been a dreamer and a doer. That's how I like talk about, I mean, who I am. I am a dreamer and I am a doer. And I was born in Honduras, and I was born a dreamer. And then every country that I have lived in has made me like something else. So for example, I when I was in Honduras, I dreamt about Canada. Can I talk to you about like how did I end up in Canada?
Sure, you
There's
can.
some
You can.
there's many things there are many things that happened, but it's so magical, like to me, like it feels like a blessing, so I was in Honduras. I was 14 years old, so I was a teenager, and I had this dream about Canada. For some reason, like Canada was always in my mind. Like people in my country, like people in Honduras, like typically dream about, okay, moving to the US or moving to Europe. But to me, there was something about Canada that I kept, in the books, textbooks where I was like studying or things, documentaries I was watching. There was something about Canada, and I was like, I want to live in Canada. I will live in Canada one day, and I will make that dream come true. And I remember telling my dad, hey, mom, I want to move to Canada. Can I go there like as an exchange student, in high school? There's a possibility to do that. And I was like, can I do that? And then they told me, you know what, you're too young. Like, let's wait until you maybe graduate from your bachelor's and then you do your master's, and we can help you, get there. So at that time, I was like, okay, I was so excited, but then I trusted, my parents' wisdom, and I said, maybe this is not the time. But many things happened after that, and I eventually made it. But the thing is, like, like it's been such a beautiful journey of, dreaming about living abroad, dreaming about going to new destinations that would give me, a new perspective, a new lens of the world, and that would shape me in a beautiful way, so that I could, accomplish those things that I was dreaming about, but also accomplishing things that could help me help other people around the world. And that is like so beautiful. And I'm just so proud, of my journey.
When you moved to Canada, when? Like when was that? Like
Okay.
how long is that? How long was that?
Yeah. So I was 14 years old. My parents said, okay, right now it's not the time. Let's see if we can help you in the future. And then I eventually, graduated from high school. Then I went to university in Honduras. And then when I was in Honduras, like graduating, I was like, okay, I want to do my MBA after some experience. And I was thinking, okay, maybe I can do it in Canada because Canada was still in my mind, but maybe I can do it in Europe as well. And then one day I came across a scholarship that they were going to do like a full scholarship in a top business school in Europe and in Barcelona. And I was like, wow, this sounds so amazing. And then I was like, maybe I can go to Barcelona. And then there were 5 scholarships for people across the world. So the chances of, someone getting a scholarship like that is like very close to zero. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to submit my application. I was, in school. I have been always like in terms of academics, like top of my school, like, I do very good with grades and things like that. And I'm very active, in doing volunteering things in my university and school, etc. So I was like, okay, maybe people around me told me you should apply because you have like the chances of you getting that like are very high, even though there's millions of people who apply or thousands of people that apply. So, anyways, like I applied to that scholarship and to go to Barcelona in Spain. And long story short, I got it. Like I was blessed with that scholarship, and that's how I ended up in Barcelona. And I, pursued my MBA there, and then I met my now husband. I met him there, so that is a gift that I got from immigration. That's something it's unexpected that happened. I was like, okay. Anyways, like I was pursuing my MBA, and then I went back to Honduras, spent some time there, and then I went back to Spain again because I wanted to pursue another master's.
Hmm.
And at that time, I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna see. I mean, what are the options to stay here in Europe? Maybe like, I mean, because I really liked the experience of living in Spain. And but at that time, it was after the recession, like the 2008, 2009, and it was very hard, from the immigration perspective to get a work permit and things like that. So you could be there as a student, of course, because you had the money to
Yeah.
you were contributing to the economy and things like that. So I ended up going back to Honduras for the second time. I mean, I just went on those two occasions to study, and then I told my boyfriend at that time, who's now my husband, like, why don't we go to Canada? Because that was my dream, right? And then he said, okay, like he always like wanted to, like live in Europe, and like that was like his thing. But then he said, you know what, like, okay, let's try and see. And then like one day I told him, okay, I researched everything. How do you move to Canada? Blah blah blah, like everything, everything. And I'm like, here's what we can do. Are you on board? Do you want to, like at that time, like he proposed to me, and I was like, okay, this is the package that you're getting. A woman who's like, you know, um, who wants to live abroad and she wants to go to Canada because she has dreamt about Canada since she was 14. And then I was blessed with, a husband that was willing to support and to be, my dream. And we ended up applying to go there, and I was there as an international student, and that's how I got there. So I was studying again. So if you're keeping track, like I studied in Honduras, then I went to study my MBA in Barcelona, then I went for another master's in Barcelona, and then I was going for another one in Canada. So I enjoy like studying a lot, and that was the way that was my path to get into Canada.
With all the dreams you had, I want to really know. Tell me about how it felt when you landed. Like, how did it feel the day you land? Like the day you set foot in Canada. Like, how did
It
it feel?
it felt amazing. I felt like this is the thing that I have been dreaming about, and I felt like unstoppable. I felt blessed. I felt that this was a new chapter that was going to lead me to the things that I know deep inside that I can do, for my own success and for the success of people around me. I just felt like $1 million.
I like that. Now, there's this theory they say that um, if when we move as an immigrant, it's all rose colored for a bit, and then after a while, it falls off. Did that ever happen to you at some point where you start to see, like, do you ever at some point start saying, it wasn't all I thought about? Like, did that happen to you?
Yes. So the challenging piece in my journey was being underemployed, so working on a job way below, my qualifications. And that's something that that's not unique to me. Like I have seen that across many immigrants, and maybe like people in your audience that are listening to this, they have faced that, and because it's very hard. So in my case, I mean, I didn't, it was not like I regretted moving, but it was about, this is not where I want to be professionally speaking, and what can I do to move forward. I had a very successful career in Honduras. As you have heard, from what I've shared in the past, I have a lot of education, I have, work experience. But despite having an MBA, despite everything I had from a professional standpoint, I was working in a minimum wage job. I started working in retail while I was an international student. And then I gradually, like was growing, after my first jobs in retail where I was studying in Canada for 1.5 years. I then got a job in administration, and then another one. So I was like, my story of as a professional immigrant has been, Dozier, about strategic steps. Okay, I'm here at the very bottom, despite having an MBA, despite having a decade of experience, but I'm earning minimum wage. I up to this date, I have one of my pay stubs from back then. And you know why? Because it keeps me humble. Like I
Hmm.
am making like multiple times what I see on that paycheck from 10 years ago, but it keeps me humble on this is where I started. And this is like how I have been blessed with, be able to think strategically, being able to receive blessings from above, and and finding my way, making my way as an immigrant. But it was tough. It was tough. There were times those years where I I was looking, okay, like what are people like classmates from my MBA doing right now? Like people from Barcelona, and now I'm in Canada. They were
Yeah.
like impressed that I was in Canada, and they looked at me and they were like, "Wow, that's so amazing." And some of them, they knew that Canada was my dream, right? So they were like, "Wow, you are accomplishing something great." But my reality was that yes, it was great that I was there, but the thing that was not great was that I was facing underemployment, that I was making minimum wage while my classmates from my MBA, they were, they had their own companies, very successful companies, or they were the directors or heads of very important companies across the world. And it's not good, to compare yourself, but honestly, like I cannot, I'm being true to myself, true to honest with you and your audience. Like I compared myself at that time and I said, am I supposed to be doing this, like an administrative job, something so basic? And I see my other classmates, they're doing something. And then at some point I thought, like, I mean, how can I get out of this? Because I didn't regret it. I would say I have never regretted moving to Spain, to Canada, and now to the US. But it's about my mindset. How do I get to the next level and then build my way up to what I dream about?
It's human actually to compare. I think that's human. I think the good thing is where we don't allow it to define how we see the world. But it's human because
It's very human.
when you think about your classmates doing amazing things, and then you look at yourself and you say to yourself, like, but I'm supposed to be living my dream, but then it's not exactly what I thought it would be. And then you start to even question the dream, like, okay, was this dream actually worth it, or was I just seeing things and thinking that that's how the world works? So I think it's human to actually to
Exactly.
feel that way. It's what you do with it that matters.
Exactly. It's exactly. I love that. It's what you do with that, what matters. And it's like, it's so empowering. It's so empowering when you look at things that way. And that has helped me and in my journey and the people around me to say, there's something, you have everything within you to succeed as an immigrant, regardless of how you start, where you go. You have power within you, to shape that future. It's not going to be, like everything is nice and beautiful all the time. There's going to be challenging times, but the journey is so beautiful and so rewarding. And the immigration journey can give you the opportunity, like that's how the way I see it, can give you the opportunity to be impactful in the place where where life is taking you, or where you are taking yourself to. You have the power to influence other people, to inspire other people, to help other people in their journey. In the 7 cities that I have lived across 4 countries, I can tell you of people that, have touched my life in a beautiful way, and people that I have touched their lives. And that is something magical. Can you imagine, like, if you didn't, immigrate, like, you wouldn't have, some of the friendships you have, you wouldn't have helped or inspired some of the people you have. So it's something truly magical that can spark from you moving to a different country. And then maybe there's people who, are going to continue to be in your journey throughout life. But then there's other people who maybe they were just like your classmate, as an international student, or maybe you came across in, one of your jobs. But I have the strong belief that there's a purpose
Yeah.
behind, meeting some people and then going to a new destination to touch other people's lives and to be inspired by other people's lives. And that is something priceless.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Honestly, I agree.
Yeah.
Because like it's so such a simple thing, and we don't
Yes.
think about it that much. Like, because we're in a hurry to, as an immigrant, you're in a hurry to kind of survive in a way. You're
Mm,
trying to settle in. You're trying to go through your checklist. But the truth is, what you're doing, what you do as an immigrant, that we don't actually realize is that we help people understand other parts of the world.
yes.
That's what you just made me understand. It's like when people meet us, yes, there'll be some people who will be assholes and whatever, and like, that's okay. But there are also people who would meet you and understand that
Yeah.
there's a world much bigger than their view, and if that's the impact you left in their lives, that's enough.
Yes.
That's enough. Like, it's enough. It's enough. It's what else? What else do you want to do? You're not God. If you believe in God, like I do,
Yeah.
but at least you've passed on a connection to someone else.
Yes. Yes. And that's so powerful. And that's
Yeah,
priceless. Yes.
yeah, it is. But again, just for someone who dreamt about Canada this much, why did you move to the States?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Okay, so I feel I spent a decade in Canada. I'm gonna go to that in a second, but I just want to walk you through. I lived in Calgary, Alberta. I driv I lived in Toronto, and I lived in Ottawa. And in that decade, in those three cities, I accomplished so much. So many dreams like were in between between those years. And then I had a new dream because dreams evolve, and my new dream was a new destination and actually supporting my husband's dream.
Oh,
So remember when I told you my dream was Canada? I told him, okay, this is what you're getting. Like, I am a very, like, I have big dreams, and I'm bold, and I am all this. And I told him, my husband, he was my boyfriend at that time, like, I wanted, my dream is to go to Canada. And then one day, like, in Canada, my husband told me my dream is to go to the US. And family is, your family is your team. Like, it's
yes.
the most important team you have, and you have to be like, with my husband, we are, the best thing we could ever be. And it was my way of showing him, yes, we are, partners in our life. And now I'm here to support your dream. And his dream was, to come to the US and build his own, company, and pursue, things from a professional standpoint. But also, so that was his dream, right? The professional thing. But the thing that I was dreaming about is to be closer to my family. And coming to the US represented to us that opportunity to be closer to our family, because my husband has family here in Houston. And since I am from Honduras, I wanted to be closer. And Houston, like, if I want to go to Honduras from Houston, it's a 3-hour flight.
Uh,
If I wanted to go from Canada to Houston, it was like,
don't
oh my
don't
God,
even say that.
so expensive, such a long. So long story short, we decided to move from Canada to the US, seeking to be closer to family, seeking financial prosperity, more financial prosperity. We were doing very well in Canada, but we thought, okay, they say the US is the land of opportunities. Let's go and see if that's true. And the other thing, yeah, was supporting my husband's dream as well.
Yeah. Staying on that, like, considering how often you've moved, has it gotten easier as an immigrant to just settle into new countries or new cities, or do you still go through the existential crisis of what am I doing? What am I doing here? This is tough. Does it still happen to you?
Yeah, I still feel it's tough. Um, but I feel like I have developed, like strength in my mindset where with the success that I've had in my journey, in Spain, in Honduras, in Canada, I feel like I'm so equipped with everything the things one of the things I do, professionally speaking, is I coach people, and specifically immigrants, and I coach myself, like, like, and so that's what I do. That's why I'm bringing this up right now. It's about how do I, put my mind into what I need to focus. It hasn't gotten easier when we, we're thinking about, okay, moving to the US. Where in the US are we moving? How are we going to do that? It's so hard, like, looking into all the immigration processes. It's hard, but I think, like, yes, it has gotten easier in the way you execute,
Mm,
but it's not easier in the way that sometimes your mind is telling you, oh my goodness, are you sure about this? Do you want to
yeah.
do this? Do you want to start from scratch? But then that's where, like, I coach myself. I'm not starting from scratch. I have experience from moving in other countries. I have, even, like, if an immigrant is thinking right now, oh, I'm going to go to a new country, and maybe they have not had the experience as I have, living in as many cities, but the life experiences you have, even though you have not moved to a different country, you are not starting from scratch. I promise you, you're starting from the experience of the other things you have accomplished in your personal life, in your professional life. So that new chapter is there for you to help you grow, for it to help you how much you are capable of accomplishing, and setting you up for success, in a new destination.
Hmm. That's good advice for
That's the way.
myself too.
No, I'm happy to hear that.
Oh yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
because you're right. You're right about we forget that we've built something. Yes, you are starting afresh in a way, but you aren't exactly starting afresh. You're not some
exactly,
blank slate,
exactly,
But I guess it's
exactly.
so easy to forget that in the hustle and bustle of trying to get going again in your new country, your new city, and all that.
Yes, and I think, like, one of the keys, based on, my own experience and my own success and the people I help, is focus on what you can control.
Yeah.
I think, like, many people, like, feel overwhelmed or feel like, oh, I want to move to another country, but it feels so difficult, so complicated, and so uncertain. But if you focus on what you can control at this point, and have that confidence and that faith that things are going to work out, maybe not exactly the way you think about initially, but things are going to work out if you have the right mindset, if you, seek for help when you need it, um, and focusing on it. It's so easy, Dosia, to just focus on everything, but you can't. It's going to lead you to be overwhelmed, to be anxious, to be even depressed. I don't know, like, there's many people experiencing, like, all of that, and I think the key is focus on what you can control. So right now, okay, you're thinking about immigrating. Okay, start from the basics. How can you immigrate? What are the options? And actually, I'm going to go back to something before doing that. It's like,
Mm,
why do you want to do that? Connect with your purpose. Like, that's something that I will always remind myself and others. Connect with your purpose. Like, if you're thinking about immigrating, why? What motivates you to be there? How do you see yourself, like, in 5 years, in that new country, in that new city? And then focus, like, step by step. What can I focus on right now? Okay, I can focus on doing some research. I can focus on, like,
mm,
making a plan, and then just do it little by little and do it strategically, and you can make it. Anything you can do, you can accomplish anything in life, anything and everything, if you focus on what you can control. If you think about, okay, what's the next most immediate step that I can take, and how can I make that step very, very, very strategic and very aligned to my why, very aligned to my purpose.
hmm. That is like, I feel like that deserves like a pause. You know how you just like, okay,
Yeah, let's
it's
get
like,
that sink
okay,
in.
let's take all that in. And
Take all that in.
because, yeah, you're right. It's immigration is overwhelming, but you can decide how much you want it to overwhelm you.
Exactly.
It's not easy. And
It's not easy.
people I'm not sure I'm at the stage Gabriela is at yet,
Hmm.
but like I still think of focus on things I can't control sometimes.
Hmm.
But you're right about, if you can focus on what you control, you change it. You change a lot of how you react to the things that come at you.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Since we're talking coaching, I know you do stuff where you help immigrants kind of highlight their skills and competency because people
Hmm.
struggle with that a lot. Like, what are your three biggest tips for an immigrant who's trying to highlight their skill set or their competence in
Hmm.
Canada, for example? Let's use Canada, so it's a bit
Hmm.
specific.
So one of the first things I would say is think about what's your story. What's the story, professionally speaking? What's your story? Like, how do you tie your skills to, what you can do, to where you have been, and to where you can go as a professional? When you communicate, when you know how to communicate your value as a professional, and you tie that to a story, it's so much easier to, to get a job, like in an interview. I see, for example, that my number one tip, like we can discuss that further, but my number one tip is like connect your skills, your background, and what you want to do to a story, and own that story, and use that story in everywhere you go. So you're networking, tell your story. You are in an interview, tell your story. You are applying to a job, tell your story in your cover letter, because people will not hire you as an immigrant for numbers you have on a paper on your resume, like years of experience, blah blah blah, things like that. Yes, they're looking for that, but they're gonna hire you. They're gonna buy the idea of having you in their team because of the things you believe, because of the journey, and because what you can do. It's not about the certifications. It's not about all the things. Yes, those things are important, but it's how you communicate those things so that people can see you in that job that you're applying to. So that would be my number one, is like find your story and know how to articulate it. The other one would be make your, build your network. Build your network, because the more people that know you, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. The more people that know you and know that story, back connected to number one, they can help you. They can help you see, okay, that thing, but maybe you're from, from Honduras, from Nigeria, from Colombia, from wherever you are. Maybe, that thing, we don't call it like this here. Like the network,
Mm.
your network is going to help you shape things and understand things that are, local, to the place you're living. So my second thing would be that, my second tip. And my third one would be just don't settle. Don't settle for
That's
less.
hard, though. That's hard.
It's hard, but don't settle. Look at your skills. Okay, what skills do you have? How do you see yourself applying those skills? Let's say 4 years from now, 5 years from now. It's not about a job title. So so this third tip is around, don't look at what you can do based on a job title. I don't want you to say, oh, I want to be a project manager. Oh, I want to be a project manager. Or I want to be a director of blah, blah, blah. Think about it from the perspective of what do you want to, how do you want to use your skills and your talent? So maybe think about, okay, I want to be in a position where let me think about something. So let's say I want to be in a position where I can help people. Let me think about a great example that can resonate with the audience. So maybe around, okay, I want to be in a position where I can help others achieve great results, feel confident in driving projects that are meaningful and impactful in an organization and things like that. So let's say that person is all about the leading a team, right? leading people so that that team, that people can drive results. So don't say like it's a different story when I tell you, okay, this is how I see myself. I see removing barriers for people so that people can succeed at doing their role, at doing like very interesting initiatives in an organization, so that there's more innovation or blah blah blah, whatever like the case might be. It sounds more powerful to think about it that way than think about, oh, I want to be a project manager. Oh, I want to be. It's like we connect. So always remember
Yeah.
that for any immigrant like listening to this, like connect. Your goal is to connect with the people you network with, connect in a way where they can see who you are, what you can do, and what you've done, and that's like it's just a magical formula. And I think that's a great thing that has helped me and that has helped people. So just to summarize them, the first one is, um, look at what your story is and find a way to articulate it. The second one is build a network. Build a network so that you have people around you from whom you can learn and who can, maybe they can refer you to a job, or maybe and while you are in that, second tip, be of service to them. So don't build your network just thinking about you,
Yeah.
about what you get from them. Think first about what you can give them, you know. And the third one was about, don't focus too much on the roles. Focus on how to use your talents and your skills. How do you see yourself applying that? And then based on that, the role doesn't matter. The title doesn't matter. It matters the duties, the responsibilities that you have around that, and how to use your talents to
And
be impactful.
the good thing about the third part is that it helps you tighten your story because then your story is much, much better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
That has been very helpful for me and people around me. Yeah. So if anyone's listening to this and they're, like, okay, like, what do I do? Like, that can give you some inspiration and some guidance.
Yeah. So we're rounding up now. I want to explore something with you. I've seen you talk about it a bit, which is if you think about the world right now, mostly North America, I mean, globally, yes, it looks like immigration is a very contentious topic. But I see you talk a lot about how immigration makes us, like moving to a new country makes people better. And I just really want to explore that with you a bit. Like when you say that, like, what does that mean? Like, how, I mean, I have a sense of what that means. I think I agree with that, but I really want to hear your perspective on how immigration makes us better and in turn the society better.
Hmm. So to me, let me start by saying, for example, to me, immigration is a process where you're going to a new destination. But here's the important thing: the destination is not a place, so it's not a country,
Hmm.
it's not a city. The destination is a new perspective. The destination is a new way of looking at the world. The destination is a way in which your heart and your brain are shaped so that you can achieve greatness and so that you can be impactful to others. And to me, being an immigrant and being, getting to those destinations, so not to the countries, not to the places, right? To those things that I have mentioned, it makes the world better because we have people who have, gained so much resilience, gained so much awareness on who they are, and what do they want, what legacy do they want to live in this world. And I think immigration shapes you in such a beautiful way that wherever you go, you're going to make that place better. Like, whether you do it intentionally or not, you're going to make a difference. But the power lies when you are intentional and about saying, you know what, like, I'm here, um, and I want to use my experiences from abroad to bring new perspectives to the workplace. I want to use my experiences in saying, you know what, there's a way in which I can use my talents to inspire other people, to bring awareness of other people, to volunteer in different causes. I think it's about, there are no borders. There are just, you have just the power to go and conquer. That's something I like to remind myself, to conquer a new territory immigration gives you that opportunity to conquer a new territory, like that specific place you're going, but it's about that mindset. It's going to make you more like powerful, more, it's going to help you achieve greatness. And I want to share here. So Dosia, my definition of greatness is the way greatness is measured in the way you uplift others.
Hmm.
Greatness is, defined in measured in the way you impact other people. It's not about, okay, you come as an immigrant and then you become a successful entrepreneur, or you become, the head of an important company or a director in a company, whatever the case might be. Those are just, things that we measure, in the world, in the professional world. But in life itself, job titles don't matter.
Yeah.
No one cares. But greatness, you can achieve greatness by just achieving things that are matter to you. And how do you use those experiences and that journey to help others around you? In my case, when I have, I feel I have grown so much in every, immigration journey that I have taken. I have taken, Gabriela from version 1 to version 2 to version 3 to version 4, and that's the case for everyone. I'm sure it's for you.
Yeah.
Your new version is so much, connected, maybe more connected to you and to your own values, maybe connected to the things where you feel that you can make a difference in this world or in someone's world. And and I feel immigrating gives us that platform where we can go to new places and just conquer something different, conquer a new territory, conquer a new way of thinking, conquer a new way of, understanding the things that you cannot take for granted.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just so proud, honestly, of being an immigrant. I'm proud of, listening to you and being inspired by your own, the things, the questions you're asking me, and the journey that I know that you've had as an immigrant. And I'm sure that there's many inspiring stories in the audience. And I'm just going to tell everyone, like, use that journey, make that immigration journey your platform to do something great, and great just measured in your own, your own terms. There's no universal definition of what being great means. But every single immigrant I have met, they have a beautiful, beautiful story. It, filled with, successes, ups and downs, challenges, resilience, strength, like so many things. And I think, like, use the way that your immigration journey is shaping you, use that to become a better a better version of yourself, and a better version of the environment you have. Because in the way I strongly feel that in the way success is measured, like in the way that I succeed, how do I make my environment succeed? If I am succeeding, but it's just like about me or blah, it's all about Gabriela. No, like that's, to me, that's not success. Success is about accomplishing something, and how what I have learned, or what in the position that I am, or whatever the case might be, how do I use that to help others? So,
You know,
yeah.
I don't think we should add anything else again to this conversation.
I've left you speechless.
I don't think
Yeah.
I should add. I don't think we should add anything again, honestly, because yeah,
Yeah. So greatness, I think, like it's something to reflect, and I, that's something I do. I'm very, like, connected to myself, and I like to inspire people to do that as well. Like, connect yourself to the things that you value, to the things that matter to you, and use that to continue being great, and to
yeah,
making other people great, around you, like serving this world. And and don't think that you can change the world, but you might. But change if you change someone's world, you're making this world a better
yeah.
place. And, on that note, I feel you're changing the world, like with this podcast. Like, honestly, I feel you're changing someone's world. Like, honestly,
Thank
like
you.
you're there's so much power, in sharing stories, and I feel so humbled and so proud that you have, like, invited me here. It's truly an honor. But I'm here to tell you,
Thank you.
like, you
Thank you
are
so much.
changing. You're very welcome. You
Thank you.
you are changing someone's world. Like maybe like there's someone who, is listening to this episode or other episodes, and they listen to something, like maybe there's something that clicks with them and helps them. So can you imagine, you're already changing not the entire world, you're changing their world, and that's big. Just one
Yeah.
person's world, it's big. So I think like because you're amplifying, the stories, you're amplifying, okay, like there's beauty behind every immigration story. You're sharing, even your own experiences and helping, others share that, and that is so so powerful. So congratulations, and I
Thank you.
admire you
Thank you
for
so
that.
much. Like I said, there's nothing else to add again. I'm just gonna end this here. I don't know what else to say. I was like, because I'm like, gosh, if someone listens to this, they should get to this point and be like, yes, because you know why what you said is so true. As human beings, we get as we grow older, we get fixed into who we are.
Mhm.
Immigration is one of the processes people don't that forces us to break apart from all we know. And for the first time in our life, for most people, we ask ourselves, like, who am I really? And you're right about like just that thing, that when you're in that let me call it coma for lack of a better analogy. When
Mhm.
you're in that coma where you're not sure of who you are, you can you can do a lot of great things if you realize the power you have, because you can now question the things that drove you before. You question everything, and like the question is, who comes out after that? Do you come out as a better person and do better things with the world because you've had the chance the immigration has forced you to say, like, what's going on, like what was I even doing with myself all this while? Why was I so set in my ways? Why wasn't I open-minded? Just because that's what it forces you to do. Is It's an existential moment for most people. Most people avoid it, but I'm like, you can only avoid it for so long. You At some point you have to face that thing and ask yourself, what's happening to me since I moved? Which
Yes.
is why that's why I say there's really nothing else to add here. Like, because that is what you said is so true.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Thank you for coming on the pod. Thank you for just being Gabriela. Like, gosh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being you. Like I admire you
Thank you.
for that. Yeah.
Thanks a bunch. That was such a good ending. You should probably go back and replay it again, because that's really good advice. When you move and with all the things you're going through, why don't we take that opportunity to do something really great to our lives? But yeah, thank you for getting to this point. Thank you. If you know someone we should talk to, send them my way. As always, like, share, subscribe. Please repost when we share stuff, when Substack, when YouTube, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Have a beautiful day, and thank you.